Missouri Senator-elect Josh Hawley is live in Washington, D.C. How you doing, sir? Good morning to you, and thank you for your time here in America's Newsroom.
Thanks for having me.
I got a lot to get into. How does it feel to be in D.C. after your victory in Missouri?
Oh, it's great, I tell you. It's an honor to get to represent the people of Missouri and to take their voice to the United States Senate.
You know, it gets kind of swampy there. You know, you just got to be got to be on the lookout for that. Let's talk about that right now with the border wall. What do you think gives here?
Well, listen, I mean, the Democrats need to give the president what he wants. I mean, he campaigned on a border wall. I could tell you it was a big issue in my election just now in the state of Missouri. It is imperative that we get the funding for the wall, and I think the president's request is a very reasonable one. So I look forward to the Democrats, I hope, respecting the will of the people and moving this process forward.
Okay, spending's a big deal, too. Here's a statement from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They said this: "Our country cannot afford a Trump shutdown. The president knows full well that his wall proposal does not have the votes to pass the House and Senate and shall not be an obstacle to a bipartisan agreement." So already they're trying to label this as a Trump shutdown. How do you counter that?
Well, listen, I mean, it is their responsibility now to do what the voters of this country want. And I can tell you certainly the voters of my state. And they are the ones, I mean, they have the power, Bill, to agree to what the president's proposing. The Republicans stand ready and to get funding for this wall. The president's been very patient. This has been a long time coming. The voters have been very patient about it, too, but they've been very clear that this is what they want. It's time for the Democrats to stop obstructing, get something done.
On that, the president tweeted this from President Trump. He said, "People do not yet realize how much of the wall, including really effective renovation, has already been built. If the Democrats do not give us the votes to secure our country, the military will build the remaining section of the wall. They know how important it is." I haven't been down there in some time, but it's already been built. Is that to suggest that some of it's already been effective?
Well, I think that, look, the president's taken measures, sending troops to the border, toughening up border security to do all that he can to secure the border. And now it's time for Congress to do its part. And look, I mean, it's been 2 years. I think the American people have been very patient. But people sent, the voters sent folks to Congress to act, to actually get things done. And now it's time to get the border wall funded for the Democrats to stop obstructing and to move this process forward.
Okay, let's see what happens from that meeting. We're watching it very closely from the White House. You come to Washington at a very interesting time. And there was this letter that was penned by 44 former senators. And what they basically argue is that the Mueller report is about to conclude, and then the Democrats in the House are about to commence whatever they decide to do. And here is part of the statement from the letter. "All other critical moments in our history when constitutional crises have threatened our foundations, it's been the Senate that has stood in defense of our democracy. Today is once again such a time." How do you reflect on that as you begin your time there at age 38?
Well, listen, if the special counsel has evidence of collusion, which is what he's supposed to be investigating, he ought to come forward with it. He has had a good deal of time to investigate. He has spent millions of taxpayer dollars. He's got a fleet of lawyers working for him. So if he has evidence, let's have it. Otherwise, it's time to wrap this investigation up. And I'm all for Congress doing its job, but the special counsel needs to do its job, needs to do his job. And so if he has the evidence, let's see it.
One more point here. Back home in Missouri, some people are pushing back against you, and they're making suggestions during your campaign that you directed certain employees who are paid by the state to work on your behalf. I've already heard from some in Missouri call it an act of political harassment. What do you call it?
Well, look, I mean, it's a Democrat group. It's a former Hillary Clinton staffer who's filed not just this complaint, Bill, but filed lots of complaints against me during the last campaign. This one's from the last campaign. They didn't want me to beat Claire McCaskill, but I did. And now it's time to get on with the people's business, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
How do you respond to this allegation? Brad Woodhouse and others are making that. Sorry?
It's totally false, completely false in every particular, just like the other. I think it's 7 different allegations, complaints, Bill, that the Democrats have filed against me in the last year and a half. Not a one of them has been successful, and I am not going to be deterred.
Welcome to Washington, sir. Josh Hawley,
you.
Senator-elect there from Missouri. Thank you for your time here.